Hi, my name's Phil, and behind me is my 19-foot de Havilland Hercules, and it's an all-alloy half cabin, built about 1969, ex-Navy. Good old boat. I've been on lots of trips in it, and I'm just about to head up the Patterson River in New South Wales, Australia, and just going to share with you just a few things I do in preparation for any trip. This one's going to be for about 3 days. For a start, get that cover off it. It's always good to check the two-stroke oil in the motor before I go, and put a bit of oil in it just to sort of make sure that the oil motor's not going to blow up on the way. I always just check to see if the motor's going up and down, and it's all happening. Plenty of power in the battery. It's turning over. Yep, that looks good. Just make sure there's no snakes in there. Nothing worse than being out on the water and having to deal with a black or brown snake. There's always leaves and things that fall in, and there's always just bits of dirt and mud and sand and stuff, so get the old vacuum cleaner out, give it a bit of a go over. Now, one of the things that I've got before I go is having a bit of a boat list, and it's all the gear I need, right down to cutlery, spare parts. Okay, now here's something I always take with me when I go away, is just a big tarp. Really handy if you happen to sort of hit some rain, and you can just put it over the whole boat. And the best thing is about these really cheap tarps is that you can pick them up with one hand. They're not like wrestling an alligator or anything when you're out there in the rain. So very light. Before you pack it away, always check there's no little critters on there, there's no little frogs or leeches, or who knows what can be under there. Oh my god, a huge tarp. Pick up with one hand, quite easy to handle, and best thing about them, they're only a few dollars. They're only like, I don't know, 20 bucks for that, tears or anything. Let's get another one. Okay, well, this is what I do every trip. I always just charge up the batteries. I'm charging up my, what I call my spare battery. It's my third battery. I just have it on the side there, keep it charged. I've got my first and second battery, which are all switchable. I can go from 1 to 2 to the two together, and I give them a good charge before I go, and that way everything's fine and dandy for the trip. I've also got a solar panel on the top, and it's always handy to have some jumper leads as well, which I always carry. And this way I can run, you know, a laptop or charge up my mobile phone or camera or whatever I need to charge up. And very handy little item. I've got some spare fuses in there, and it's always good to have everything electrically is pretty sorted out. I've been through the electrics on this boat, and it's been very reliable. Okay, well, here's another addition that I've just put on recently, which is an auxiliary motor. It's a 30 horsepower Mariner. Very simple motor. I've just got steering as a tiller steer. It's going off an auxiliary tank of about 20 litres. It's a very simple, reliable two-stroke motor. I've done a bit of work to it and it goes really well now. And there's my main one here. It's my 4-cylinder 100 horsepower Mercury two-stroke. It's about a 1990 model. Now, it's important to have plenty of fuel. That way you can just keep going and going and going. No problems at all. So I've always got a 20 litre spare there. Another 20 litre, that black jerry can there. And then I've got a 12 litre down here, which is for the Mariner auxiliary motor. And then I've got the big silver 65 litre stainless steel tank there, and it's got plenty of range, and it feeds into the big Mercury 100 horsepower. So I can go out and go a long way, and I'm happy that I won't be running out of fuel. I always carry two-stroke oil, funnels, and a little funnel for the to top up the big Merc's oil tank. So yeah, that's my fuel sorted out. Now, I've always been quite keen on safety, so I've got my big orange plastic life buoy in case someone falls over the side. Around that I've got a life jacket, which is a type that will keep your head out of the water. It's a style number 1. And over here I've got tucked away, you can see down there is some provisions, and alongside that is a ladder which can go over the side. If someone falls over the side, if I'm by myself, I can easily just get up and get back into the boat quite easily, because getting into a vessel from the water is extremely difficult if you're by yourself. Here's a pretty handy item. It's a dry bag. It's a very simple idea, but very effective. You can put your laptop, matches, anything that you need to keep dry in there. For the next 3 days I'm only going to need enough food for 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches and 3 dinners. I've got water, I've got an esky which I fill up with ice just before I go. That keeps my long life milk, my drinks, cereal, all nice and cool. And I'll probably get a chicken and put that in there as well, so I can eat that for the first day or 2. And I've got some chocolate drink, some soups, some noodles, some oats, and I just try to get containers that I can just pour hot water onto, and keep it all contained and keep everything to a minimum, keep space to a maximum on the boat so I don't run out of space. And I've got some sardines, and of course I cook it all up on my little simple gas cooker. It's very simple. Just takes a cartridge in there, which I take about 6 cartridges with me. It's got a lid on it which I can cook some fish with, and that's if I'm lucky. And that's it. That's all my food for the next 3 days. Here's a handy item. It's a mosquito net. It can be quite disappointing to arrive at a beautiful place and be eaten by mosquitoes. And I always take a little bit of personal insect repellent. And it's always a good idea to have a first aid kit handy, and of course some sunscreen. And I found that some aspirin is always good too if you're not feeling well, you've got a cold, got a headache. It's always a relief. So it's always good to sort of be prepared, and that mosquito net just hooks up onto the roof, and I can be there out in the bush totally mosquito free. Sometimes when I'm away for a few days I might want to have a bit of a shower, and simple solar shower, which is basically just a plastic bag, has a shower rosette on the end of it. Here's a few items that I just find are sort of essentials. A pair of pliers, a pair of snippers, great if you get a hook in you and you can cut it out and take it out, and just some tie wire, which is really handy stuff. I've made a few simple hooks in the boat, so they're just good for hanging stuff up. Great for a running repair. And also it's always good to have a siphon as well, which is great for siphoning petrol into a drum if I need to use the auxiliary motor. It's always handy. And I never leave home without some of these, the old starter cables, which is great. And of course I've got my fishing rods there, and also my net, which is great for sort of just getting those babies into the boat. Here's a shot of the interior of my my boat. It's 19 foot long. That's the cabin there, you can see, and I've got the carpet down, so I normally just put a inflatable mattress down there. It's 19 foot long, so it's plenty of room to sleep. And you can just see there, that's a fold up chair. Here's a bit of a rundown of the equipment on the boat. There's my horn, my anchor light, my aerial, very handy solar panel, which is connected straight up to the batteries, and that keeps it charged. And also I've got my depth gauge, speed gauge, and my fuses, controls, my amp meter. Now on my checklist I've got some tools that I always take. I always take stuff like hammers, just like pliers, mouldy grips, a few different screwdrivers, Phillips head, flat heads, and little shifters, big shifters, always handy, snippers, wire snippers, and a bit of wire, because some electrical work done. And I've got a bit of old tape here, electrical tape, a little crimper and a snipper for the wires, just a Stanley knife. This is handy stuff. This is just kneaded, or it's resin, and you mix the two parts together and it forms pretty much stuff that's about as strong as steel, and that's great for repairing holes and just doing just about anything that's in an emergency. Some tin snips, a pair of scissors, and of course stuff to repair a hole in the hull. So if you get a puncher, you can just push that in, put a bit of kneaded around it, and that'll fix it up, stop the blade from sinking. Jack, and of course a wheel brace in case you're flat. It's time to hook up and head off.